Hi everybody, Randy Wickman here. This is the latest and greatest from Fabarm. The first shipment just recently arrived from Italy, is my understanding. It's the L4S Allsport RS. So, it's a Clays gun, of course, 2 3/4 inch chamber. So, why would you want this gun? Glad you asked that question. What you get, as you can tell by the top of the receiver here, is you get 2 ribs. 2 quick release ribs. One 50-50, point of impact. The other one 60-35. So the idea is that you want to shoot a fairly lightweight, I think this is about 8 pounds, a fairly lightweight, responsive Clays gun with low recoil because of the gas action. But you want to use the same gun for skeet, sporting clays, and trap. So typically you would use your 50-50 point of impact rib for sporting clays, where you have just as many dropping shots as you have rising shots. And for skeet, for trap, you would use the 60-35. So let's put it together and see what it does. You'll notice you've got an extra large charging handle with blue accents on this gun. You also have an adjustable comb. So, an adjustable comb, I think people that have been at this for a while know whether they need one or not. It's hard to find an adjustable comb semi-auto. Fabarm does make the XLR5 Velocity AR adjustable rib, where your point of impact can go from 0 to 100% high. But it's a far more expensive option than the L4S. So here you've got your adjustable comb, and I think Wesley did some redesign work so the top of the comb matches the top of the rib perfectly, which of course is what you want. So an adjustable comb with a low rib might present a problem. So that's why you have the somewhat Monte Carlo adjustable comb and the higher rib. So let's put it together and see what it does. It comes in a hard case. You get 5 choke tubes going from skeet up to the Fabarm Exus 9/10. A 10/10 is available as well. The 5 chokes supplied are all steel shot rated, if that's important to you. And also oversized bolt release on the back, also with blue accents. So let's put it together and see how it does. For starters, what I'm going to do is I've got a target set up at 31 yards. So I'm going to print a pattern at 31 yards with the 50-50 rib, and then switch over to the 60-35 so we can both see what the difference is. So let me get it together. It should only take a moment. So the trigger on this guy is about 5 1/4 pounds. Feels lighter than that when I'm pulling on it, but of course my hand is more in line with the trigger and the way it's normally pulled. But anyway, the trigger gauge calls it 5 1/4 pounds. So let's see how it functions. The lightest loads that I have are these Fiocchi 1 ounce 1250 foot/second loads. Now most of the Fabarm Clays guns will go with very, very slow 1 ounce loads with no problem, or even the faster 7/8 ounce loads. On up to you. 1 1/4, 1250 feet per second. Not a problem. and not much recoil. So the most interesting thing, of course, is the switchable ribs. Let me grab a chair, we'll print a pattern at my 31 yards and switch ribs and see if there is an obvious difference. So as you can tell from the grass blowing all over the place, it is pretty windy today, but even though it's about a 15-mile-an-hour wind, it is blowing away from me, so I don't think it's going to affect point of impact that much. So let's try it with the 50-50 rib. We'll switch ribs and see if there's an obvious difference. So that's our 50-50 rib. Maybe we did get a little wind drift there, not much. A little wind drift to the left, which is where the wind is going. You can tell from the grass. So, I'm going to shoot the same target, but we're going to switch ribs. There's not much to switching the ribs. You can't get mixed up, because it's clearly etched. Quick release rib, QRR 6535. So you really can't miss it. And what holds it on is basically one generous cross pin right here. So it's knock out a pin, and it's pretty easy. So I do want to show you the barrel with the rib removed. So you just knock out this cross pin and push the rib forward, and off she comes. That's all there is to it. That's pretty simple. So simple, so easy. You can see the posts right here, the very generous posts. So if I want to put on my 65-35 rib, which is what I do, it's pretty easy. And I've never done it before, so I'm nothing to it at all. So the posts are right there, and you merely slide it back. So now it's firmly in position, and you grab the little cross pin, which has a undercut in the center. And that's all there is to it. That pin isn't going anywhere, and you have auxiliary posts up and down, so it's firmly attached. You don't have to worry about this rib getting loose or flying, because that is a generous cross pin. So easy, even I can do it, which is a good thing. Takes me an hour and a half to watch 60 minutes, but that's my first attempt, and just not a problem. So, and take a shot, this time with the 65-45 rib, which you would want for trap, with a constantly rising target. And since we're firing at the same range, 31 yards, at the same target, it should be readily apparent if we have moved the pattern upward. So let's give it a try. And I think it's pretty clear that we moved our pattern high, I don't know, roughly 3 inches or so, but it's just that easy. So this is the rib you would want for trap, with a constantly rising target, so you have a little built-in vertical lead. And if you want to use the same gun for skeet sporting clays, It's switch the rib and you're good to go. So no reason to buy a trap gun and a skeet gun, or a skeet sporting clays gun and then a trap gun. You can use the very same gun and just swap the rib. That's really all there is to it. For some people, the adjustable comb is going to be a godsend, because obviously you can move it up, down, left, right, and it's a factory installed adjustable comb. So aftermarket can be expensive. The results can be great to horrible depending on who you use and what type of adjustable comb system you go with. But it's all factory, so everything you need comes right in the box. And of course, since it is from the factory, it's all Fabarm 5-year warranty stuff and Fabarm tech support. And that's about all there is to it. My favorite sporting clays gun happens to be an L4S, but just an L4S Sporting, gray Sporting, because it fits me beautifully right out of the box. So there would be no reason for me to, I didn't even change the shim, it just fits perfectly. But we all have different dimensions, and not everybody has the same bulbous, chubby face that I have with chipmunk cheeks. So an adjustable comb obviously is a big deal, a factory adjustable comb. There just aren't too many semi-autos out there with factory adjustable combs. And the Fabarm combs over the years have done a pretty good job. You do have a subtle palm swell that feels great, fills out the hand very, very nicely. And as mentioned before, as you can imagine, gas operation and a little heavier gun than the L4S Sporting due to the additional weight primarily from the rib, both on top of the receiver and the higher rib going down. You just cannot expect recoil to be an issue at all. And this is just, it's all factory right out of the box. So I don't feel anything. Actually, the way it is, I haven't made any adjustments, but I don't feel anything on my face, shoulder, or anything. Very, very comfortable gun. So Fabarm's going to do well with it. It is walnut. It's all Turkish walnut, oil finished. The oil finish on Fabarm guns I like. I think it's very nice. It is hand oil rubbed, but it's not the 20 or 30 coats, the very time-consuming finish that you might get on a Caesar Guarini, that's for sure. But if you like that type of stuff, you can do it yourself. But all of my Fabarms are walnut with the standard Fabarm finish. And over the last, let's say, 8 years, I haven't had any problems whatsoever. In fact, the gun that's been hunted the most with, and the most, let's say, the widest variety of conditions, whether it's snow or rain, whatever, would be my L4S Hunter that I've hunted with every year for 8 years, and it still looks, it's 99.5% plus condition, so I haven't had any problems. There's a lot of questions about carrying for walnut, but I don't have a really good answer. I mean, people use everything from lemon pledge to the more classic linseed oil, birchwood casey stuff. Actually, if you take some painter's tape and cover up the checkering, G96 oil does a real good job. Just a light coating of G96 gun oil does well, and a lot of very, very experienced gunsmiths that I know use Ballistol. Just a light coating of Ballistol is just enough to keep the walnut nice and fresh, and it's maybe once a year type application. Just keep it from drying out. So I haven't had much issues over the years maintenance with walnut like this. So there's not much not to like with this gun. It's just a question of what your preference is. If I wanted one gun that was a semi-auto for trap and sporting clays, yeah, this would be it. But as is the L4S Sporting, which has a flat rib, shoots 50-50, that's what I use the most. But Fabarm did a good job with it. There's no question about it. This is, I think, their final release for 2024. My understanding is that they got their first shipment in before Italy goes to sleep, which is the entire month of August. So they did get the first shipment out before they shut down for August. And it was a partial shipment, so they're out right now. You can get them, but I wouldn't expect a huge supply out there until probably end of October. I'm just speculating. I really don't know what the shipping manufacturing schedule might be over in Italy. So I like it. It's not a question of good or bad, really, with a gun like this. It's what you want. So if you want to shoot multiple games with the same gun, this is a great choice. And like I said before, the first Fabarm imported by Fabarm USA by Wesley and Company was the XLR5 Velocity with the adjustable rib, which is a very big gun. Some people love it. Some people are bigger than I am. You know, I'm 5'10", but I do have long arms, but it feels big. Some people like it. It's a little big for me, and that's one thing that Fabarm, Caesargrini, Siren, one thing they're not going to do is cut back on parts or quality or cheapen their guns. If we have Bidenflation or whatever and the costs go up, the costs are going to go up on the Fabarm because they are not going to cheapen up their product for the exact opposite approach, because there are some things they've improved that they don't even announce, but if they can improve it and make it better, they do. And that is the case with the entire L4S series. Even though I personally haven't had any problems whatsoever going back 8 years with L4S models that have been shot a lot, they did improve the shell elevator. They made several subtle changes. So all new L4Ss come with their new shell elevator design that they took their time and put a lot of work into. So that's what I like to see, is constant refinement and execution. And I think that's about all there is to cover. Like I said, I do not have any lighter loads than the 1 ounce 1250. So some people, you know, they like their 7/8 ounce reloads and whatever, and I don't. But there's just so little recoil with a semi-auto that there's no reason not to shoot heavier loads. In fact, let me grab some 1 1/8 loads to finish up. These are our Remington American Clay and Field 1 1/8, 1200 feet per second. And with a gas autoloader, there's no reason not to take the extra payload and the extra pattern diameter or the denser pattern as far as that goes. So yeah, I mean, there's just no appreciable recoil as far as I'm concerned at all. So there's no reason, in my view anyway, not to use 1 1/8 loads with a gas auto. And one thing I'd like to mention too is that Fabarm has done a pretty good job offering either left-hand stocks or left-hand ejects throughout the line. So I believe you can get this left-hand eject as well, and that would include a left-hand stock, which means a left-hand palm swell. Comes one way at the moment, as far as I know. This is a 30-inch barrel. So you've got a 30-inch barrel. They're all extended chokes. You can call it effectively a 31-inch barrel. But try more barrels, and there's just nothing not to like. People, for some reason, I guess they would like the comb here to be rubber. Well, I don't have that opinion because I don't like excess plastic or rubber that can get sticky or decay, and if the gun fits you properly, there's no advantage to it. Certainly if you have a soft rubber comb for a gun that doesn't fit, it won't smash your face up as bad, but that's just not the right way to go about it, at least as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a stock fitter like Rich Cole or Andrew from Fabarm, but the rubber comb really is superfluous because the gun should fit you and you shouldn't feel anything on your face, on your cheek at all anyway. So I like it. It's not plastic, it's walnut, but of course having a solid hunk of walnut with the hardware gives you a more robust, durable system than trying to stick screws into rubber and plastic, which is not the best approach, at least as far as I'm concerned. So that's it, folks. That's the introduction. As I've mentioned many times before, I love my L4S sporting, so that's not going to change. But Allsport is just that. If you want one gun to handle all your clay sports, or as people like to call them, disciplines. I don't know where that term came from. It's not much discipline for me when I'm out having a good time with my buddies, and I don't think it is for anybody else either. But Fabarm did a nice job. And I really do like the forearm lockup here, because as you can tell, you're just not going to have any rattles or any wiggle from the forearm. It's just it feels like it's all one piece of walnut and steel. Just nothing moves. And the forearms that shift around and go back and forth, I find it a little bit annoying. And as you can tell, just the way the inletting is with the receiver, it's not going anywhere. So it's a great system. And it's also easy for cleaning too, because you can take off the forearm just with one screw, but the forearm is not a structural part. So there's no stress on the forearm whatsoever. So this gun's been shot. It's a Fabarm demo gun. It was apparently shot before I received it, but you can see whatever mung you get on the gas piston, it's pretty easy to clean off the gas piston every time you shoot without allowing any buildup to happen. And you can do that without disassembling the gun. Sure, as soon as you get a chance, you want to give all gas guns a thorough cleaning. But that's where you get most of the mung. And as long as you don't over-lube it, use some G96, a light film, you can go a long time. But it's easy after every time you shoot just to clean up the gas piston, which is all, I think this is all nitride anyway, so stuff doesn't stick to it very easily. But like all gas guns, you really need to clean them every time you shoot them, even though if something like this, a quick clean is only going to take you a minute and a half. So that's it. New model from Fabarm for 2024, L4S Allsport RS with 2 ribs. And I like the way they've done the ribs. I mean, it's extremely solid. You can tell from the post here and the post here, and the way it slides back and goes with the receiver and the additional rib height here. It all comes together quite nicely. So that's the problem with some ribs in the past, is that the attachment just isn't very robust. It's just not very sturdy. And this is rock solid as far as I can see. And even with my fumble fingers, changing this rib is just nothing. It's knock out the pin, slide it forward, slide the new rib on, knock the pin back in, one single pin. So, thanks again. We'll see you later.